Alright, thanks for coming back for part 2 of this build of the leather apron. Hope you enjoy. What I'm doing here is cutting high-tech templates out of extremely expensive material, leftover popsicle boxes from the 5-year-old in my house. These are great actually for making templates that are stiffer than paper, obviously, and you can reuse them a lot easier if you plan on making several of the same build. I use them all the time. I use anything with the same thickness, cardstock or whatever you want to call it, like Coke boxes, anything along those lines. I don't throw it away if I need more material for using it for templates. It's very easy to work with and it is great. You can also print on 8.5 by 11 paper and then carry it over to these and make these more of a permanent template if you plan on making more than one. I typically use this kind of cardstock, if you will, to anyway, no matter what, even if I don't plan on making a second project of the same type, just because it's so easy to work with. All I'm doing here is getting a template together for the support edges on both sides of the top of the apron that will wrap around your neck. You don't want to just strap on to the top of the leather because this is a high traffic area for the material at that connection, so you want it to be pretty strong. So what I'm going to do is add probably a contrasting color of leather too to these corners, just to give it a little bit more support for the copper half rings that you see at the bottom of the picture here. I'm trying to find the best orientation for this corner support piece that I like, and I have to also allow room for the ring to fit. As you can see right here, it's going to be too tight for the ring to go in at the top, but I'll bring that out a little bit to give me just a little bit more room for the ring to fit so that it won't be an issue. Now, I'm going to add 2 rings in these as a side note, because one will hold the strap and the other one will hold things like your safety glasses or whatever you want to hold to the top. I mean, the more accessories you can have on these particular aprons, I think the better, because again, you don't have to search around for your tools. You have everything at your fingertips, so it's pretty nice. So I've decided to go with black for these, as you can see, and I'm just cutting the pieces out to get an idea of, again, the orientation and what I'm going to need as far as the amount of leather to put on both of these corners. Once I have all these measurements I'm taking, I will go back to the template and make sure the template matches what I've found over here, and I will create the corners for the supports and get ready to rivet them to the apron. So again, here I am with the final piece of support leather for the corners, attaching them to each side using the granite block, which is a must in leatherworking for holes, rivets, etc. You've got to have one. And I'm sorry for the bouncing camera here. Again, in the future I'll be using an overhead camera, which will eliminate any of that shake that you're seeing there. So that should not be an issue in future videos. Here you can see that I have the two loops. Again, one will be for the strap around your neck, and the other one will hold things such as safety glasses. So this is kind of difficult to get on camera, so I'm holding it kind of in a strange way so you can see how I'm doing it. And you can also see the leather is kind of damaged there. I'm not really sure how that happened, but hopefully I can work some of that out later. It is for a workshop apron, so / barbecue apron, so it should be okay. To look a little rough, that is. I am attaching the rest of the copper rivets here, and I've heard that the copper rivets are the strongest. I'm not sure if that is the case or not, but in this particular build they look good with the leather and what I'm going for, so I went with as much copper as I could. I do know that the rivet is by far the strongest way to attach leather. If you're just using snaps, it's just not going to be as strong as a rivet. So that's why you want to use these in areas where you need to have strength with your attachments in the leather. And I really need to upgrade my cutting utensils here for the rivets. These are very difficult to cut with these dull shears that I have in my toolbox here, so I'm probably going to have to upgrade these. The other rivets that I have, the steel rivets, are much easier to cut. These copper ones are not easy at all, so I'll probably have to get some better pliers for the next one. I didn't think that it was going to be this difficult on the copper ones, but it is pretty tricky. Okay, once both of these strap holders are attached, I'm going to move on to the next step, which is to add, as you can see here, some lower straps to hold the waist belt around the apron. And I'm also adding a piece here. This ends up getting changed because I didn't like the way it fit. This is kind of a lower strap if you want to use it instead of the upper one to wrap around to connect it around your waist. I was not a big fan of this one and how it turned out, but I will show you that in a later video. What I'm doing here is trying to get an idea of what I want to do with the pockets. Do I want it to hold pins? How big do I need it to be to do that? Just basic layouts to see what I want to do in these areas. So I've decided to use black, as you can see, for all the pockets and everything on this particular build, and I'm just measuring to get the overall pocket for the top, and I will measure for other pockets at the bottom. This will be used, I mean, these measurements can obviously change depending upon what you're trying to do with the apron. I mean, obviously, if you are using it to barbecue, you're not going to probably need as many pockets. You're just trying to keep your clothes clean. If you're trying to do leatherworking or woodworking, you're going to probably enjoy having a lot more pockets for carpenters, squares, tape measures, pencils, pens, razor blades, whatever you need. It really will come in handy to have a lot more pockets. Here we are just, again, measuring more areas to see what we want as far as the size for the pockets. You can ideally just take the measurements from the person that you're making this for, and you'll know exactly what size they need for all their pockets. I'm just kind of winging it with some tools I have laying around to see how big I want to make these pockets for this particular client.